So I spent a good portion of this past month reflecting. I had some things that were heavy on my heart and mind about how 2020 went for me personally and how I plan to make the best of 2021. And during that time, I spent some time engaging in conversation with myself. I also sat down and talked with Lexi a few times as well. And every time I did this, I seemed to walk away from those conversations with a bit of insight, an aha moment, if you will. Now, those moments weren't mind blowing or anything like that. They were simple and honest. And to me, moments like this carry the most weight. Now, my goal for this conversation is to give you something to think about or reflect on that are similar to the conversations I've had with myself during these last few weeks of this year. To be more specific, I'm going to share 3 common things that are destroying your momentum in life. And the first one is not knowing where you want to go. I want you to lean in for this one. See, if you don't know where you're going, you'll likely end up somewhere you don't want to be. I'm going to say that again. If you don't know where you're going, you'll likely end up somewhere you don't want to be. See, life itself is abstract. It's full of color and shape, objects of every size and weight. Yet, as artists of our own lives, it's up to us to control the direction of our paintbrush, meaning we have to decide what direction we want to go in based on our current starting position. I've learned that not knowing where you want to go or simply not committing to a direction in your life is an easy way to set yourself up to create negative momentum in your life. Instead of spending your time growing and living, enjoying the luxury of life, you instead find yourself reacting to life, going with the flow, waiting for something to happen, unhappy. See, as we step into this new year, I really want to encourage you to spend some time conversing with yourself. Dig deep and ask yourself, what motivates me? What drives happiness in my life? What direction do I want my life to grow in? Number 2 is engaging in the wrong habits. We've talked about habits a lot this past year for good reason. I mean, this pandemic alone has interrupted what we've once called normal. Our lives, our routines, our state of mind in some cases have been shifted, which makes habits, or should I say, engaging in the right habits, even more important. Now, why is this vital to your momentum in life? See, the right habits help support and create positive momentum in your life. The wrong habits destroy progress and growth. And by default, that impacts your momentum in life. For example, these momentum destroying habits include things like procrastinating or negative self-talk, which is a big one, or this idea of getting in our own way, which is actually something I opened up about in my most recent private podcast episode in my Patreon community. I talked about how I have a goal for myself to start getting out of my own way when it comes to expanding my creativity, among other things. And I'll actually leave a link to my Patreon down below if you want to gain access to that podcast. Now, another momentum destroying habit is actually shying away from opportunities. Now, personally, I think this is something we've all come across at some point on our journeys. In fact, I have a video where I've talked about how opportunity favors a prepared mind. And I'll leave a link to that video down below as well. See, the key to fixing these bad habits is being observant of your life and actions, number 1. And number 2, removing those things from your life by choosing to focus on the right habits that matter. And again, I have a playlist all about habits that you should definitely check out if you haven't seen it. Number 3 is lacking change, or dare I say, having a fear of change. Simply put, I've learned that change is the process of life. It's something we all have to go through and learn to grow through as well. Now, the key to approaching this change is to do it with small but different steps. See, if you continue down this path you're already traveling in life, given that it's one you're not too fond of, then you're destined to be the same, to live the same life you're already unhappy with. See, if change is something you want, then change is something you have to give. Start taking small steps in a new direction in life. Learn something new along the way and use that fear you feel as fuel. I really hope this video resonated with you. I hope I said something that spoke to you. And if I did, give it a thumbs up for me. As always, comment below so we can continue talking about this. If you're new here, welcome. I'm glad to have you here. Make sure that subscribe button down below so you can join this community and grow with all of us here. Always remember to stay true to you. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.